everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Rachel Langston. I'm an owner and craft educator here at Oak and Lamb. Today we're going to be talking about weeding vinyl, specifically if you are weeding vinyl the easiest way possible. Now we are all about efficiency here and making sure that the things that we do are very efficient, very quick, however they're also done right. So today, keep watching if you want to find out if you are weeding vinyl the easiest and best way. Before we do dive into the video, I want to remind you guys it is completely free to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to also like the video if you enjoy it and leave us a comment down below for more content that you would like to see. I'm going ahead and cutting out a vinyl decal for us today. If you want to know the in and outs of how to use vinyl, we do have some simplified videos here on the channel, as well as a really detailed and in-depth video in our free to all members Cricut course. So you can check that out if you are a member, and if you're not, what are you waiting for? It's a great course, so grab the membership to get access to that course down below. But as far as supplies go, you are going to need some vinyl to weed. Today we're talking about weeding adhesive vinyl. So we have this great adhesive vinyl decal that's been cut, and it says "Let's go girls." And we'll also need a couple of tools. So we have here a Cricut True Control knife, which is basically like an X-Acto knife. We have a regular hook weeder tool, a weeding tool that's like kind of like a needle on the end. Basically, there's a lot of different names from a lot of different brands. You can make them at home, whatever you want to do. This is not necessary for many of the vinyl projects we'll be weeding, but I wanted to include it in today's video because as far as weeding vinyl easily, sometimes it can really help. And also you will need a brayer. Now again, today we're going to be discussing how to weed vinyl easily with adhesive vinyl. So if we're doing this for heat transfer vinyl, that would be a different story. But today the supplies are very minimal. We have a mat here with our vinyl on it. We of course used our Cricut Explorer 3 to cut this, but you can use whatever machine that you have, because again, this is all about weeding, not about the cutting and anything like that. So check out some videos that we have on that if you are interested. Okay, we have our decal on our mat that has been cut. You might be able to see that, you might not. And you might be wondering, Rachel, why are you using a strong grip mat? Well, the vinyl that we're using today is a really good brand of vinyl. However, our mat that we have been previously using that was green, which is a standard grip mat, has been really, as we like to call, well loved and well used. So we needed something with a little bit more stick. And this is a strong grip mat that also has been well loved. So this one basically has the tack of a standard grip mat where we've used it so often. Now, if you're like, well, how are you supposed to know which mat to use with which material? We got you here at Oak and Lamb. Again, in that membership, you get the free O&L Cricut Academy, which is like a master your Cricut course kind of thing. And you get this great handbook in it, which is just chock full of so much good stuff. But included in that is a page all about the mats and which mat to use with which material and some tips and tricks for getting really good outcomes on your project. So again, head over there to check that out. It's a great resource. So that's why we're using this mat today. Now, the number one most important tip for having a good successful outcome with your vinyl projects is to use a good brand. Now, we have used StarCraft, we have used Oracal 651. There's a lot of really comparable brands out there. The one that we're using right now is StarCraft, but yeah, make sure you have a really good brand. Now, good brand does not mean the most expensive. You all know. If you don't, we do not like Cricut brand vinyl. It is our least favorite brand of vinyl out there. For the money, it's outrageous how little you get. Also, the quality is not phenomenal at all, so we definitely go elsewhere to look for high quality, cheap vinyl. Cheap meaning price, not cheap meaning quality, of course. So we have some really good vinyl. Now, the first step is to making sure you have your Cricut set on the correct material setting. If you don't have your Cricut set to the correct material setting, it's not going to cut this well. We used premium vinyl removable mat. That is the exact material that we chose to weed StarCraft Premium adhesive vinyl, just to let you guys know. Now, once you have it cut properly on the proper setting and a good brand of vinyl, what we like to do first is take a brayer or a squeegee or a scraper tool here, something that's not a hard plastic. These Cricut ones are hard plastic and they end up chipping and will actually scrape your vinyl, and we don't want that, so we never use that. We use a brayer mostly, or like I said, like a little bit of a softer plastic of a squeegee. And what you're gonna do is basically bray this down. And what we're doing by doing that is re-adhering all of the vinyl down onto the backing. Because of course you have your sticky adhesive vinyl and then you have the backing which it's laying on. And what we're gonna do, since the fine point blade has cut out all of these letters, it has also kind of pulled those letters up from the backing a little bit as the blade was agitating your material here. So by pressing that material back down, it is going to make it that much easier to weed and really, really cut down on the possibility of the vinyl you want staying down coming up. So we always, always press your vinyl back down after it's been cut. Now what you're going to do is take a True Control knife, an X-Acto knife, something like that, and while the vinyl is on the mat, if you take one thing out of this video today, leave your vinyl on the mat. This is going to work like 4 extra hands for you and really free up some space with your hands, and also mentally not to have to worry about it. So please leave your vinyl on your mat. Now I can see in person, I know you guys cannot see, but I wanted to use a good contrasting color, so black. But I can see right where my cut lines are. Now, if you're a brand new beginner and you're worried about doing this, you don't have to do this step. You just will waste a lot of vinyl. So what I'm going to do is take my True Control knife, and I can see where the furthest edge is on my design, which is right here. So I'm going to take my True Control knife and cut right beside that. And again, you'll get used to the pressure of your X-Acto knife or your True Control knife, and you can take the vinyl here and you're going to remove it from the mat. So I'm going to get just a little bit up like this to where I can kind of peel it, and I'm not going to peel it up like this. Now why am I not going to do that? Because I will curl my material. Let me just show you. If I'm going to do that, see that curl there that I have? It's all ripply. Can you see the ripples in it? Look at all those just kind of wrinkles and ripples. You don't want that, because what you're doing when you peel your vinyl up like that is you are agitating it from the backing. Now again, we've worked so hard, we want to keep that backing nice and smooth and our material nice and smooth. So all this like curling and this rippling, it's not going to help. You're really hurting your material. So to get it off the way that we want, what we're going to be doing is flipping your mat over. Flip your mat over and let gravity help you. At this point, you're going to be removing your mat instead of your material. You see what I'm saying? So if you remove this, peel it up, you're removing your material. But if you're pulling up your mat, you're basically removing your mat, which makes your material pop right off and not be curled or anything like that. So that's our big tip there. Now, we have our design. There's a little bit to trim down here at the bottom if you want to do that, to get another little piece of scrap vinyl, but it's not a necessity. You don't have to. Now that we have just our decal that's been cut, you want to go in with a hook weeder tool. This is what we do. And start at an edge. Start at the very corner. And you're going to peel up really slowly. Now, a great way to make sure that you are weeding your vinyl correctly is by reading your vinyl as you're weeding it. So I'm going to start in the corner, just apply a little bit of pressure, and then I immediately take my finger. I already put my hook weeding tool down, and I start peeling this up super slowly. You can do a little rocking motion if that helps. Sometimes it does. Now we're going to stop. Girls, I can read that loud and clear. Now at this point, when you're about halfway done, if you get overwhelmed, you can stop and take some little nippers or scissors and cut this off. But we're doing great here, so I'm going to continue. Rocking motion if it helps. Just like that. Go. Okay, so girls go. I can read everything. Now there is an apostrophe up here, so we're going to be very careful as to not lose our apostrophe. And now before I crumple this up, I'm going to set this to the side. So just in case I missed anything or I go back over it and I'm like, oh no, I missed X, Y, and Z, you won't have crumpled this into a ball and have thrown it away. So you'll be able to potentially pick out what you need. Now, at this point, I go word by word and make sure I get the middles of these letters. So all I do is push down and then pull up. I'm really not like dragging my tool at all. I'm just pushing down and pulling up. Super easy. Now this one, push down, pull up, and we're done. That's it. We are completely done. It is literally so easy to weed adhesive vinyl if you have a good quality, if you leave it on the mat, if you treat this well. It's super easy to weed, honestly. Now, if you have something that's super, super thin and super, super curly, like a good curly script font or something like that, and it's small, you might want to try what we call reverse weeding. We do have a video on that as well if you would like to see what that is. But that's really good for some thin or small projects that it might just be hard to weed like this. Now, let's talk about if this didn't go perfectly. If I started to peel this up off of my mat here and some of my vinyl pieces that I wanted to stay down were coming up, there's a couple things that you can do. You can stay right where you are with your hand and your piece coming up, and you can grab that weeder tool and try and kind of snag it off of the piece that I have in my other hand and get it back to stick on the backing. Or you could let go and let your vinyl fall back down right where it was cut at and use your brayer again and bray it down and try it again. So there's a lot of different avenues you can go. The biggest tip is just to go slow. The slower you go, the quicker you'll catch your mistakes and the more patient you'll be when those mistakes come, and you won't be frazzled or anything like that. Now, leaving your vinyl on the mat, again, it's crucial in my opinion. If I was to have this vinyl off of my mat, which again, we're removing the mat from the vinyl. If I was to have this loose and have to use like an entire hand to hold this as I'm like peeling it up and it's just sticking, there's no way I would have good confidence and a lot of success with this. There's just not. So if you're a beginner out there and you're watching this, please leave your vinyl on the mat. You will absolutely love it. It really does change the game. And a lot of people will say, well, if your vinyl's on your mat and you're right-handed and you're weeding it, your hand's on the mat. So you're de-sticking your mat right there. Well, you can always flip your mat over and weed it like this. But to be honest, we always leave it like this and just use our hand. And a lot of times our hand's not on the mat. A lot of times we're hovering our hand up. And usually like the side of our hand is the only thing that's on the mat if we need that stability. So the positives greatly outweigh any negatives of our hands being on the mat, and that is for sure. Okay, so weeding is super easy. Don't let it intimidate you. Again, if you have some hiccups, go back to the basics. Am I using a good quality vinyl? Is my Cricut's fine point blade too dull? Did I use the right material setting? Go back to the basics. Figure out what you're doing if you keep having fail after fail. But if you have a good quality vinyl and you cut it correctly and you use the right tools and you braid before you weed, you are going to have success, 100%. It is great. We use vinyl all the time. And to be honest, vinyl was one of those things when I first started that I didn't know these tips and I just thought it was a bad material. I tried to weed it so many different times, so many different ways that I didn't even think it was my fault anymore, which I think some crafters might do that every now and again. I know I'm guilty, is thinking it was the material's fault or the product's fault and not the crafter's fault. But after doing it for so many times, I thought for sure it's not me. It has to be the product. So I just don't want to use it anymore. And I probably steer clear of regular adhesive vinyl for months. I tried my best. And then one day I thought, I'm going to master this. I'm going to get over the hump. I'm going to be confident with adhesive vinyl, and I have been ever since because we honed these skills and we developed these tips and they work like charms. So I do hope that you have success with this. I know you will if you follow these great tips. What did you all think of those incredible tips on how to weed vinyl the easy way? I really hope that you can apply these to your next Cricut craft project and become an absolute pro at weeding. If you're watching this and you are a Cricut beginner, you would absolutely love our O&L Cricut Academy. This is a free course to all members here of Oak and Lamb, and you get this incredible booklet along with the video course with over 20 videos that teach you everything you need to know about your Cricut, from what comes in the box to the differences in the vinyl, how to use, print and cut all the different types of vinyl, and even some really great deep dives into Design Space to help you master the software, and so much more. This great book is filled with so much terminology and blade charts and when to use what mat. There is a lot of tips and tricks in this course that we have honed over the years to help you become a Cricut pro in absolutely no time. So definitely click the link down below and see how you can join our membership for just $9.99 a month for your very first month, which is a great deal. So join down below and you can get instant access to our hundreds of digital cut files, all of the amazing courses that we offer, our free commercial use license, and our private member-only Facebook group. There is so much to see here at Oak and Lamb, and we cannot wait to walk hand in hand with you and your Cricut and help you on your journey and help you become a better, more educated, more inspired crafter every single day. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like it and leave us a comment down below. And we cannot wait to see you another day for another video.